So today in Screenshots, we're paying tribute to the life and career of one of the most important character actresses of the 1970s and 1980s, Sondra Locke. Now, for the uneducated, most people know Sondra Locke as the common law wife or longtime girlfriend of Clint Eastwood, and the important role she played in his career during his what they call silver period in the 70s and 80s, including the Every Which Way But Loose series and the his crime series, including Sudden Impact and other films. She was a rising star in Hollywood well before she met Clint. In 1968, she had her big break in a movie called The Heart is a Lonely Hunter, which received heavy critical acclaim, which led to her being nominated for Best Supporting Actress for her role. She brought a Julianne Moore style to the screen. She was very luminous, did a lot of TV work, but her beauty was within and without. She was a very intelligent young woman. She was very dedicated to her craft, and she did a Night Gallery episode which was highly acclaimed, and which led her to sort of another horror movie called Willard, which was the story about a rat, of all things, that is trying to basically battle evil. A movie of its time, for sure. But when she met Clint Eastwood, that's when her career rose and eventually fell very later on. It really all started in 1975 when she took a supporting role in the classic Eastwood Western Outlaw Josey Wales, and she played Clint Eastwood's love interest on screen, and eventually it led to them being love interests off screen. And the films they did together did very well in the box office. They were sort of like a team that you expect in all of Eastwood's movies. Every Which Way But Loose, Any Which Way You Can, Bronco Billy, movies in the Dirty Harry franchise. But eventually the relationship started to fade out, and in 1986, when she started her directing career, and she was a very good director. She did a movie called Rat Boy, which actually it's considered a cult film about a boy who's half rat and his efforts to fit in society. It only had a limited release, but it was well received in Europe, where many of the French critics said it was groundbreaking. She also did a movie, a hidden gem if you can find it, called Impulse, with Teresa Russell. She was an up-and-coming actress just like Sondra Locke as well, about an officer of the Vice Squad who goes undercover as a prostitute to solve crime. She also did TV work and different guest roles as well. But her personal life was the big thing we're going to remember her by, and it's very complicated, and I'm going to try to give a shortened version of it I can. She had a long-time relationship with her best friend, Gordon Lee Anderson. Now, according to reports, Anderson was reportedly gay, but their relationship was tantamount to brother and sister. And when Locke had died in November, and her death was only announced just recently, it was Anderson that made the official announcement. Now, the relationship with Eastwood continued from 75 to about 89. They had first met in 1972, but only became involved literally when they were filming Outlaw Josey Wales. Now, if you remember with the Lee Marvin Palimony suit, similar things happened with Sondra Locke. Eastwood and Locke had a falling out in 1989. He basically and literally locked her out of their home, and part of the agreement when he broke up, he would support her career in separation, and all would be fine. He would go their separate ways. But unfortunately, Eastwood allegedly didn't live up to the bargain. He was supposed to support her film development and directing career, and she was blackballed. Enough published reports have shown by basically Eastwood arranged a deal where all these friends in Hollywood would not support Locke's career, and she was basically on her own. And the case in question that she took against Eastwood is now a precedent in some modern law school contract textbooks in the good faith category, because Eastwood signed this contract of palimony in good faith. So did Locke, and Eastwood broke the contract, and that set a precedent for especially women being used in good faith contracts. But for me, the greatest respect I have for Sandra Locke, obviously besides her acting, she was a good actress. She was a long-time breast cancer survivor, and her eventual passing was from complications from breast cancer. And she fought hard against disease, and she was also a person that would motivate people in Hollywood to look into more support of towards breast cancer. And when her death was officially announced this week, I was saddened but not surprised, because breast cancer patients, especially last in their 70s, it does regularly come back. I've lost some friends and family to the same thing she went through. So again, if you have a chance, go on IMDb, check out her different movies, and check out her different productions. But one movie that you should seek out, she did the Rosemary Clooney biopic called Rosie on television in 1982, and it was quite good. She basically was retired from the industry for a number of years, but we kind of there was a kind of void when she left what I call the Clint Eastwood movie universe, because she was a great presence, and I think she brought out a comic side in Clint Eastwood that wasn't there before. So to Miss Locke and her family, like I said, we on behalf of all movie fans and TV fans out there, we extend condolences. And again, please celebrate her career, because she was groundbreaking in her own way. She stood up for what she believed in was her talent, because she had quite a bit of it. So I hope this finds you well. As like we say to the North Shore, have a nice day and keep your stick in the ice.